All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with WrestlingInc.com. James Ellsworth, of course, with the WWE the last couple of years, and he's here tonight in Towanda for NTW Wrestling. And James, first off, awesome to see you here in Pennsylvania.
I'm glad to be here. We're here at the Black Knights Hall of Fame. Wrestling's right behind us. I'm looking on the wall at the cool pictures, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're obviously excited to have you here tonight in one of the top matches of the night, taking on Sean Carr, the hybrid. So many great action-packed things tonight. For you, the last 2 years, action-packed for your career. When you look back at the run you had with WWE, what stands out the most?
I just living my dream, man. Wrestling for the WWE title against AJ Styles. If you're asking, like, what my favorite moment, it was that. Wrestling for the WWE title against AJ Styles, who's the best wrestler in the world, in a main event match on SmackDown. My favorite moment.
Yeah, it was awesome. We remember that quite well. And in the Braun Strowman match, which certainly kicked things off for you. And what do you think was not the secret, but the key, so to speak, of really getting a shot at and getting the fans behind you on this run?
Well, luckily for me, it was just lightning in a bottle. Right opponent, Braun Strowman, got 15 to 20 seconds of promo time. It just all came together so well, and just that performance that night with Braun Strowman, fans got behind it after that, and I appreciate every fan that's ever helped me out because of that.
And obviously, side by side with Carmella, one of the new WWE superstars there, to be the person that handed the Money in the Bank, the briefcase, to her in that match, got to be a monumental moment for you. What was that feeling like?
Oh, it was great. The crowd that night in St. Louis, they went nuts when I grabbed it and gave it to her. It was a good moment, and I hope she cashes it in and becomes champion.
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later, right, in that aspect. But one of the things, the underdog story, with you, certainly you've been on the independents for a long time. I read in Rolling Stone you don't want to certainly finish. You want to get back there eventually one day. And what's been your schedule like? Probably even busier now than it was before.
Oh, yeah, well, this is my 5th day in a row wrestling, and I had 2 signings yesterday, so I've had 7 appearances in 5 days, and I'm enjoying meeting the real wrestling fans, because that's what's on the independent scene that comes to independent shows, are real, hardcore, die-hard wrestling fans, and I'm happy to meet them all and thank them for helping me fulfill my dream.
And, being, I guess, that underdog story, a lot of guys on the indies, smaller promotions, their goal is to make it to a Ring of Honor, to a WWE, you name it. What do you want to tell them and some of the keys of, certainly timing plays a key role, but what do you tell them in a message for all of them?
Well, timing plays a key role, but you have to be there. Wrestle as much as possible, get as much exposure as possible. I mean, you can't be at the right place at the right time if you're not there. Right. So just be there, show up as much as possible, work hard, and do your thing. Come up with something unique and creative and stand out.
And, speaking of standing out, we talked about the Carmelo thing. How did you take that role, so to speak, the last few months of your run there? Being the pet, so to speak, and being her, I guess, her go-to spot person.
I'd do anything for Carmella was the whole deal, and I was okay with doing it. Like, who wouldn't? It's Carmella. But to me, I thought the fans thought it was weird, so I'm glad it kind of didn't last long. But yeah, I personally didn't mind it, but yeah, I think it was weird for people to watch. Yeah.
Did you help out with the moonwalk at all?
No, not at all. If I tried it right now, it would look ridiculous. That's all her. She's a very, very entertaining girl, and she does it well.
Yeah, and just saw recently on Twitter the Intergender championship belt with you, and you going back to the Andy Kaufman days. Oh, yeah. Certainly that's something that speaks volumes about. He's the only other intergender champion that I could think of. Who would you challenge today? Who would be the biggest, I guess, woman wrestler that you would challenge it for that?
Well, I'm wrestling Emma next month, who's also on the Indies. Tennille Dashwood, she's going by now. I have the title downstairs. We should have brought it up here. But yeah, so I think on the independent scene, she's probably the biggest name that's a girl. I would love to wrestle Carmella for it. That'd be cool. I think people would love that.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, as far as the indies go, I can't wait to get in there with Emma next month, and I think that'll get a lot of people talking.
Excellent. Just a couple more quick questions, James. Then we're all set right here at WrestlingInc.com. Is what's next for you? Obviously, certainly, keep building, keep improving, keep getting better, get more reps. But what's next for you?
Well, I'm doing stuff with the NWA. Billy Corgan owns the NWA now. Lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, one of my favorite bands. Yeah. So I'm working with them a lot. I'm doing as many indies as possible. I get to travel the world still and do my thing, and then when the time is right, I think you'll see me back at WWE.
We're looking forward to it. And one of the last things I wanted to ask tonight as well, WrestleMania coming up, you've had a chance to walk that aisle and that stage, which is something that many strive to be at. But Ronda Rousey, coming to WWE now, made a big splash. What's your take on all that?
I mean, she's one of the biggest stars in the world. As far as star power, she's great for WWE, and it's good for both. It's good for her and WWE. I think it's a good relationship with them too, and I think both parties will make a lot of money off of her being there. And she's awesome, and she's been working hard in the ring, and I think she's going to surprise a lot of people and be a really, really good wrestler now.
Mm-hmm. And any final thoughts, James, before you head out there tonight? I know that here at WrestlingInc.com, we're all excited to have you here. And, looking back at all the journeys that you've had, traveling the roads, having a chance to live your dream, so to speak, and keep living it every single day, what would you say to those aspiring to get there? Really, you represented the little guy in so many respects.
I would, just like I said earlier, you got to show up. You have to be there. 90% of it's just showing up and work hard, and people will notice. Hard work pays off. I was on the Indies for 14 years, as you were saying earlier, and I just kept showing up, kept doing my thing, and kept fighting, and I made it. And it took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of showing up, and it took a lot of not getting paid much, and it took a lot of just dedication. Just dedicate yourself and show up.
And certainly that's something that the McMahons do all the time, every single day. They live it 24/7. A lot of interaction with any of the McMahons up there, I'm sure, at some point.
Well, Vince is the boss. I had a couple conversations with him up there, and he's just like any other job. He's the boss. So very employee-to-boss conversations. And Shane's more, one of the boys. Right. So I talked to Shane. And Stephanie, I didn't see her much because she was on Raw and on SmackDown. But when I did see her, she was very sweet and always said hi. That's about it.
Yeah, awesome. And James Ellsworth, final thing right now. I mean, looking back at all your moments that you had, we talked about your favorite one, but what do you love most about this business every single day?
Oh, the fans. I love interacting with the fans, man. They're the reason why we're here. They'll always be the reason why we're here. So just like meeting the fans and interacting with them and entertaining them. That's my favorite thing.
James, you want to say thank you for taking the time?
Thank you.
James Ellsworth, right here, WrestlingInc.com. We'll see you next time.